Hello everyone, my name is Trinh, and in this video I will reflect on my personal and professional developments during my time at NTU. I will talk about my starting points, my development goals, and the activities I completed, and what I learned from this process. When I arrived at NTU, I was excited but also quite unsure about a lot of things. I came to the UK as an international student from Vietnam and saw this year as an opportunity to grow, not only academically but also personally. I have always been someone who is quite introverted. I enjoy working independently, reflecting on my own ideas and spending time thinking about what I'm gonna ask, what I'm gonna speak. And at the same time, I have always been ambitious and wanted to build a meaningful career in the future. The challenge was that I did not yet know exactly what that career would look like. I lacked professional experience. I was not particularly confident in networking situations, and I often found myself procrastinating when I felt stressed. So looking back, I think my main goal was simply to become a more capable and confident version of myself by the end of the year. After completing the diagnostic activities, I used SWOT analysis to organize my thoughts more clearly. The strengths section was relatively easy. I knew that I was responsible, quick to learn, and generally good at understanding people. The weaknesses section was slightly more uncomfortable because it forced me to acknowledge habits that were holding me back, particularly procrastination when stressed and a tendency to avoid situations outside my comfort zone. At the same time, I realized there were many opportunities available to me through NTU, including networking events, CPD activities, and part-time work experience. Looking at everything together, three priorities became clear: improving my confidence, becoming more adaptable, and increasing my employability. Those priorities became the foundation of my personal development plan. Rather than focusing only on grades, I wanted to use this year to gain experiences that would help me understand myself and prepare for my future career. My plan focused on employability, adaptability, confidence, and reflection. What I like about this plan now is that it was realistic. I was not trying to completely change who I was. Instead, I wanted to make gradual improvements in areas that genuinely matter to me. And when looking back, these goals influenced many of the decisions I made throughout the year and shapes the experiences that I chose to get involved in. So this is the slide where I show some key experiences that shaped my developments throughout the year. One of the most important activities was the postgraduate networking events. The people in the photos are friends I met through the events, and they became my first international friendship group at NTU. That was meaningful for me because at the beginning of the year, I was not naturally comfortable approaching new people. I also attended the scholarship award celebration, although the photo was not really good, so I did not include the photo here. Receiving the scholarship was a moment that made me realize how far I had come, and it gave me more confidence and reminded me that my efforts before and during my master had really value. This slide represents my professional development journey. One major that was my part-time job in hospitality. At first, I saw it mainly as a way to earn extra income, but over time, it became one of the most useful experiences of the year. It helped me develop communication, customer service, teamwork, and time management skills in a real working environment. The other images related to business leader events and professional talks I intended. So together with other CPD activities such as Google AI ads, PR foundations, personal branding, and time management courses, these experiences helped me understand that professional development is not only about academic knowledge, it is also about workplace behavior, communication, confidence, and understanding how businesses actually operate. So these are my Thornbridge experience. I originally joined the Thornbridge trip because I was curious and wanted to try something different. I did not expect it to become an activity that I would reflect on seriously afterwards. The trips placed me in a new environment and pushed me to work with others in a different way. It was not connected directly to marketing or my future career, but it helped me develop adaptability, teamwork, and confidence outside classroom setting. So for me, this activity showed that personal development can happen in an unexpected place, and sometimes an experience that looks simple at first can still teach you something useful about yourself. My first personal development plan goal was building confidence and networking skills. I used the Gibbs reflective cycle. The description is that I attended events such as the postgraduate networking event, scholarship award celebration, and student union events. At the beginning, my feeling was that I often felt uncomfortable approaching new people. I prefer staying within familiar social circles and did not always feel confident introducing myself to strangers. So, the evaluation is that these events helped me build my first international friendship group and become more confident attending events independently. The analysis is that networking is not about being the loudest person in the room, and it is more about being willing to start conversations and show genuine interest in others. My second personal development plan goal was developing adaptability and cultural awareness. The activities connected to this goal included the Thornbridge Hall trip, TED Talks, and guest lectures from international speakers. As an international student, I was interested in understanding different perspectives beyond my own background. So these activities exposed me to different cultures, industries, and ways of thinking. One of the biggest lessons was that people from different backgrounds often face similar challenges and ambitions. And knowing this really helped me become more open-minded and more adaptable in a new environments. And my action is to continue seeking experiences that expose me to new ideas, cultures, and viewpoints because I think this will be useful both personally and professionally. My third personal development plan goal was improving professional readiness. The main activities linked to this goal were my part-time hospitality job, Google AI ads certification, career fairs, and business leader events. So at first, I viewed employability mainly in terms of academic qualifications and technical marketing skills. But after completing these activities, I realized that employability is much broader than that. My part-time job was specifically important because it showed me the value of communication, customer service, adaptability, and practical workplace experience. It also helped me realize that I genuinely enjoy service-oriented environments and working directly with the customers. So, in this part, my action is to continue building both technical marketing knowledge and real-world work experience. To measure my progress, I repeated some of the assessments that I completed early in the year, earlier last year. So the results did not change significantly. At first, this might seem disappointing, but after reflecting on it, I think it makes sense because um, personality traits and behavioral preferences do not usually change dramatically within one academic year. And although the scores remain similar, pretty similar, I still believe I have developed in other ways. I become more confident attending events independently, and I have built international friendships. I completed professional certifications. I also gained part-time work experience and became more aware of my strengths and weaknesses. And at the same time, I still have areas to improve. I need to manage stress more effectively, reduce procrastination, build leadership experience, and continue expanding my professional network. The difference is that I now understand these areas much more clearly than before, and I'm gonna plan to like continue to reflect on my path. Looking forward, my long-term goal is to build a successful career in marketing and communications. My next development priorities are to gain graduate level industry experience, continue professional certifications, develop stronger networking habits, improve resilience under pressure, and strengthen my leadership and project management skills. The most important lesson I learned from this part of the module is that personal development is not a destination. It is an ongoing process, and I did not completely change who I am this year, but I did understand myself better, and I now have a clearer idea of what I need to do next. This brings me to part two of the presentation, where I will answer the interview questions from the module. The first question is, what are the sustainable development goals and why are they important? So before studying this module, I was aware that sustainable development goal existed, but I did not spend much time thinking about them. The goal that stands out most to me is quality education, because education has played a huge role in my own life. As an international student, I have experienced firsthand how access to education can create opportunities that may not have been available otherwise. And I think the SDGs are important because they provide us shared direction for governments, organizations, and businesses. They encourage people to think beyond short-term results and consider wider social and environmental issues. At the same time, I think it is important to be realistic. Not every company engages with the SDGs for purely positive reasons. Some organizations genuinely want to make a difference, but while others may use sustainability initiatives mainly to improve their public image. Um, but even when motivations differ, I still think SDGs provide a useful framework because they keep these issues visible and encourage organizations to be more accountable. The second question is, how can the sustainable development goals be applied within your chosen discipline or industry? So when people think about marketing, they often think about selling products and increasing value. But for me, marketing also has the power to influence attitudes and behaviors because I think marketing can support the SDGs by encouraging more responsible consumption and helping customers make informed decisions. For example, companies can communicate the environmental impact of products more clearly or promote behaviors that reduce waste. And at the same time, marketing also has a responsibility because it can contribute to overconsumption. We live in a world where people are constantly encouraged to buy more, upgrade more, and consume more. So this creates a risk that marketing can sometimes work against sustainability goals. And because of that, I believe marketers have an ethical responsibility to communicate honestly and avoid misleading claims. Sustainability should not just be used as a marketing message, because if a company claims to be sustainable, there should be real actions behind those claims. Third question is, what is responsible management and why is it important in organizations? So for me, responsible management is about balancing the needs of different groups rather than focusing on my only one objective. One thing I noticed while working in a restaurant is that good managers are often able to identify the problems very quickly, and they can spot issues in the workflow. They recognize when staff are struggling and take action before problems affect the customers. I do not think responsible management is only about maximizing profit. If a business focuses only on profit, employees may become unhappy and customer experience may suffer. Um, on the other hand, a business cannot survive if it's not completely ignores financial performance. Because of that, I think responsible management is about finding a balance between profit, employees, and customers. A responsible manager understands that long-term success depends on all three working together rather than prioritizing one at the expense of the others. Next question is, provide an example of teamwork or collaboration from your own experience and explain what you learned from it. So one of the biggest lessons I learned about teamwork came from a group project where I worked with a team made up entirely of international students. During the project, I had a disagreement with one of my teammates, and the discussion became quite heated at that time. We both raised our voices, and I reacted more emotionally than I normally would. So at the time, I felt that the other person was responsible for creating the conflict. But looking back, I still believe that some of the issues started with their behavior. However, I have also realized that being right is not the same as handling a situation well. The experience taught me that professionalism is especially important when working in teams. So once emotions became involved, it becomes much harder to solve problems effectively. So if I could go back, I would definitely would stay calmer and focus more on finding a solution rather than winning an argument. Having a mentor during my time at NTU has been a positive experience. As an international student, there were many situations where I was unsure about opportunities, career options, or how to make the most of my time at university. So having someone with more experience talk to give me additional confidence and direction. One thing I appreciated the most was that mentoring helped me see opportunities that I might not have noticed on my own. Like sometimes a short conversation can completely change how you think about a situation or encourage you to explore something new. So of course, mentoring sessions are limited by time and there are always more topics that could be discussed. However, that does not reduce the value of experience because in many cases, even a brief conversation can provide useful perspective and help you think more clearly about your next steps. So this experience has strengthened my belief in the value of mentoring. And in the future, if I could, I would seek for mentoring, and I would also want to be a mentor someday to help younger students recognize their strengths, their weaknesses, and identify opportunity that they may not yet be able to see for themselves. So that is my own reflection during my time at NTU. Thank you for listening.